Well, let's try that again. Helps if I unmute the mic before I start speaking. Hello, everybody. I hope that Saturday is treating you well. Welcome aboard for completing, hopefully today, the rebuilding of Sanctuary. If I'm not mistaken, it is early in the morning. It is, so we have all the daylight in front of us. Last week we put together
Let's get this show on the road.
this shack and did the rebuild on this house. So now we just have
never ceases to amaze.
our two blue houses to finish completing.
The sunrise is still quite impressive.
As you know, this used to be the restaurant rebuild or the first build that I did here in town was to rebuild the restaurant, I should say, 2 weeks ago. The first thing I wanted to do was get rid of the restaurant because nobody was coming here, and I thought in my infinite wisdom that it was because the restaurant was here. Little did I know, it has more to do with them all working in the area that they work in. Yeah, I know, they're stolen. Don't ask me why. Some things count as stolen after you completely do away with the people who they were previously belonging to. In most of that case, we're talking about the folks who are at the Riverfront Theater, the fake New Age movement people. I honestly expected that when I killed them all off, I would be allowed to take their stuff. But it still counted as stealing, so I've got a bunch of stolen stuff. Oh well, not a big deal. Okay. As I said, last week we finished working on this place, so let's get started bright and early here with this former restaurant. And if anybody has heard of this happening before, I would greatly appreciate it. We'll store that. I did an inventory of my people last week because a whole bunch of them were missing. And it turned out that they were just wandered off from where they were supposed to be, and they actually just got stuck somewhere. Except for one of them. For those of you who've been around for the long haul, you'll remember the first guard tower I built, I actually built before the first stream, and it's the one right back here. There was a guard assigned to that, and she wore a sea captain's hat. I have her assigned up here for all three of these, and you'll see that they're still showing as assigned. I can't find her anywhere. So I have no idea what to do to make her come home. But if y'all see her wandering about in the Commonwealth somewhere, tell her we miss her. Okay, I think that accounts for everything that could get in the way of patching walls. So, I did not do the math on this one, but I think, if I am not mistaken, this house is the same size as the house down next to the Soul Survivor's house. It's just somewhat reversed. So if I'm not mistaken, it's going to be 5 wide by 3 deep. And just to make sure, I am going to where's the halves? There is no halves. Okay. It's irrelevant. I'm going to do it real quick here. Quick and sloppy. 5 will get out into the carport. It's 5, right? Or did I count to 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then depth. I think it's 3.5. This one I'm going to be a little more precise in my placement so that I get it right. Because if I don't get this right, some room might end up with a yeah, it's just under 3.5 deep. I just realized I was scrapping those. And I think I need a full floor to put the wall on to begin with. Make sure that's not too far over. Barbarian, Easy, Groucho, Jet. Hope that Saturday is treating you all well, my friends. I am low on wood. Okay. This is why I have the ability to purchase materials from my Pip-Boy. Thanks to the mod, it's something mod dispenser. It starts with a B. I should have done that closer to a workbench. There's the closest one. That's better.
This is a far cry from working with the gunners. Glad that's behind me.
It is super convenient. as I don't feel like it's a terrible cheat. I did say 5 by 3.5, right? I don't think it's a far-fetched idea that for building, I use that. And in case you were wondering, did I put that in the right spot? I'm just about to find out. I didn't put it in the right spot, I don't think. No, maybe I did. Because I'm going to have to put it... Here, maybe I should put it on the corner. Just to make sure. Put that one there. Make sure I'm not carrying any plants. Okay. I did test that twice before, but yeah, you never know. Just to be safe. Do I have surface snap on? There. Just to be safe, it's best to make sure that you're not carrying something you didn't intend to. Looks straight. Wow, I guess I am way off on how wide it needed to be. Will it let me put any floor pieces onto those? It will. And that should cover... Ouch! We just need to not have so much sticking out. That's okay. What I find really weird is that it lets me do it in this house, but in the other house, it would not let me build onto it once it was in place. I think that covers the entire roof, though. See what it thinks about walls. Now when we look outside to see how not straight that wall patch is. That wall patch is actually straight. I think I might be getting a little bit better at putting those things together. Or putting them in place, anyway. Yeah, for those of you interested in any of the mods that you see here that are not something everybody else uses, for example, the materials dispenser one, I will happily be placing them. Remember that I need to be straight on this one. In the Discord later. The materials dispenser is not quite God mode, but it does include the option of getting the materials for free if you so choose. Which, that's up to you if you feel like it's acceptable, you know? I don't mind paying for the stuff. That's why I spend all my time in-game being prolific in my manufacture of jet. And selling it. And the thing that really confuses me about that is just how many people buy this stuff. The lady at the Drumlin Diner buys jet from me all the time. Even though the way you meet her is by her wanting you to help her deal with the drug dealers that got her son hooked on chems. But when you're looking for caps, I guess you'll sell to anybody. Okay, that's too big, so we're not going to do a full wall. We're going to have to do a half wall there. Yep. Let's not forget that we want to be as close to centered on this window as possible. One way or the other, we're going to have some odd spacing. That should be good. Jet is the best source of income in game. And let's face it, if you're going to be financing the search for Sean, you got to spend a lot of caps. Because you're going to be going through ammo like crazy too. And most of those raiders just don't carry high-powered ammo. Yeah, I'll go with the plywood again. Would be nice if they did. Now, thanks to Russ last week, he reminded me about these windows. And if you place them just right in these frames, especially the ones that are try not to get the curve in the window. From the outside, these will look just like one heck of a good patch. From the inside, you can see a little bit more. Uh-oh. Calm down, game. Calm down. Yeah. That's that patched. That is all. Oh, I don't need to adjust that anymore, so let's get rid of that floor. This one has a little more character. Hello, Di. Glad to see you could make it. That's been patched. I don't really need the air conditioning unit. That's patched. So I could really call this 3 bedrooms back here by making, or, well, 1 bedroom would be really small, but I think that might work. So, last week I mentioned the glitch that happened when I tried to reassign June, who, by the way, he assigned himself the task of... Where'd these cigars come from? Of food production, which also was a little surprising to me, but it is what it is. If I fired him and gave him something else to do, so I could remove the plants he's working on without them turning into ghost plants, everybody quit their jobs. And that is not something I wanted to happen. So I just reverted to a previous save. However, much like the rest of the Concord 5, I think it's time for them to move on from this location. Now, Mama Murphy is here permanently. She cannot be moved out. But Marcy's already a provisioner. June is going to be a provisioner. And Sturgis is going to go to the castle to take up the job of fixing up the Minutemen's equipment. So he really can't stick around. Nope. So I've decided that I am going to move June on to his new task, and should everybody else quit, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to do a spontaneous synth check and decide that they all failed. So, don't quit your job, people. I'm encouraging you to stay working. That third bedroom would be really, really tiny, but this is the wasteland. Space is at a premium. They need table. Oh, I don't have any of those left. Well, I've used them, a lot of them in the restaurants. They'll need chairs. I don't really have any more of those left either. Let's fight with the controller again. Did I leave that window? I did leave that window completely open. I should probably do something with that. And it's clearly a window. I mean, it's not even... Rob thought he had a hole in the wall and he was just leaving it alone. Oh. That looks even. How does it look outside? Looks good on the outside, too. Is that a rad storm? No, that's just regular wind. Okay. Back to furnishings. I don't want custom couches. I want regular couches. Help if I didn't skip over them. Love to know what it thought it was snapping to in the back there. coffee table would be nice. If I remember which direction the coffee tables are. Glad I still have one of those left at least. Remember to leave enough room for them to walk. And where's that heavy side table? There we go. The chair's just a little bit further out than it needs to be. Now they both have easy access to reach that. Decorations, Redadios. Happen to have one sitting around. Luckily, they will never turn that on. They have an awful lot of room over here. They need something to occupy that space. But while I'm in decorations, they also need a painting. Brookie, good to see you. I do not do my Christmas shopping this time of year if I can avoid it. Some people in my family don't even bother telling me until November what it is they want for Christmas. But for the most part, if I'm not done shopping by the end of October, you're getting whatever I can find online, because I do not like dealing with people. And Christmas shopping in the stores is a madhouse. I think that you need a lighthouse. Which wall would it fit better on? It won't even go on that wall, huh? I want it to lay flat, though. And it wants to pop out from that wall. Well, I guess it's flat. Its shadow doesn't look like it's flat. And you get a nice farm scene. Everybody gets the same setup. Do I have any dressers left? I do. Oh, I have 3 of those. Did I get it centered over under that painting? I did. Yeah, at this time of year, if I'm out and about, I will see something here and there that I think, oh, so-and-so would really like that. I'll get it for them. I don't mind doing that, because I'm already stuck out doing stuff anyway. But if I've put off Christmas shopping long enough for this to be the time of the year that I'm doing it, I have made a horrible mistake. So, you know, we give the I call it stocking stuffer shopping this time of year. While I'm out and about, I see something at the grocery that would go into kids' stockings, or maybe I go to one of the local department stores and see something I think my wife would fancy. I'll put that in the cart and hope for the best. But I do not even want to entertain the thought at this time of year of actually going out to do any serious shopping. One of the only lights we really used a lot in vanilla back in the day doesn't get used much anymore. But what the hey? I've got it. And there were quite a few of those here in Sanctuary. I think I'm centered underneath that. Okay, so we have 2 bedrooms. Well, we technically have 3 bedrooms, so we do need a 3rd seat for this conversation area. Yeah, I could see somebody bringing that up from Concord. It's small enough. I really have to figure out what somebody would put there. Maybe I'll move one of these scavenging benches inside there. That would be a, yeah, somebody working directly out of their home, literally. Oh, come on, I put it here. What do you mean I can't pick it up? There it is. I saw it flash. Goes to show you, you move it because you think you're gonna collide with it, and then the game doesn't want you to have it back. that arc. This one. Go right there. Yeah, I don't mind the idea of seeing a whole new group of settlers move in here. So I hope they all keep their jobs to themselves when they I never came in here. Yeah, let's move all their furniture into the street. Is that... Why does the Brahmin sound more like a cow than a... Or sound more like a pig than a cow? You would think. Those poor animals. No, not the Foundation. Can't get at that trash. It's getting dark. So I am just going to have a seat and wait for morning. Another beautiful morning here in the wasteland of the Commonwealth. Yeah, they have a lot of junk in this house. That is a rad storm. Okay, although that's I never even powered this house. I think I'll leave the not gonna leave the skeleton. Leave the kitchen the way it is. Leave the TV there. Not that the new residents will have a clue what it is anyway. I'm sure they'll think it's a broken computer terminal or something. They had 2 TVs in this house. Fancy. They don't need 2 TVs, though. Leave the bathroom the way it is. Some plastic for a pumpkin. You know, every time I see something plastic now, I think of SAR telling the story about Fallout 76 has him looking at plastic like gold. Goodbye, crib. Did I ever open that? I did. You're using the Vault-Tec machines, trying to make monitors for a doctor to keep an eye on the sick. Let's see. I'm not sure which Vault-Tec machine you're referring to. Random carton of cigarettes. That's just foundation. There's no way to get at that trash, huh? Is it? And it's not on the other side. Well, so much for scrap everything. It's gonna be scrap most things. Okay, this is the one that's got the bump out. Oh. Goodbye, Halloween poster. And Halloween banner. Okay, unless I missed my guess, this one is 3.5 deep, just like the others, but it's 5.5 wide. Interior seems to be about the same size as those others. This one has no carport to work with. And I am going to have to move this in order to use this wall as my corner piece for establishing the pardon me. I have to take care of something. Sorry about that, folks. Dogs got into a little bit of trouble in the other room. Had to straighten it out. So, yeah. I didn't realize that was a double window right there. They had a really nice view, didn't they? tell you, when I lived up in upstate New York, if there was that much space between somebody's really nice view and the thing they were looking at, someone was bound to buy that piece of land and build a house on it just and ignore the people's view. Work off the corner of that where the kitchen is. I want to make sure I'm far enough forward that I'm not going to be grabbing the generator. That it remembered. Sometimes I fool myself into believing the game makes sense. 3, 4, 5. And a half. And then I said it was 3.5 deep, if I'm remembering correctly. Probably could have waited until I was doing the other half pieces on those that I put up there already, but it is what it is, right? Now watch, I've completely overthought this size. Yeah, the dogs do like to have fun. Unfortunately, sometimes while they're having fun, and even when I'm laughing at them, the missus doesn't find it as amusing as me. In this case, I agreed with her. It wasn't amusing. They had gotten into some trash that was supposed to be heading out the door, and either me or my daughter left it hanging on a doorknob because both of us are lazy and knew that somebody else was wandering out the door later, and then nobody took it out, and the dogs took advantage of said laziness. Alright, I'm going to put this here, but I want it a little bit higher than that, just so that I know I can grab if I need it. Let's check to see if the corner is ridiculous. The corner is slightly ridiculous, but only just slightly. If I go any further over, I start into the window frame. Remember I said I might have completely missed that size? I kind of like the way the scavengers wander around when they're doing their thing, because they're a little bit overhang on the front is okay, but where does that overhang? Let me see. Yeah, it's far enough in that if I took it out, the sky would be visible, so let's leave it that way. I like the way the scavengers wander about with their weapon out. It's like they're doing extra security job. Okay, that's as close to that windowsill as I can go with that, without blocking the window. And I need to go just a little bit further and go ahead and block part of that window, I think. Is that the sound the cow makes? I never noticed that before. That is more immersive than I thought it was. Now I feel like I need to find some way to put water in those for that cow. Hi, Rob. Hi, Russ. Glad you could make it. I think that's as far as I needed to go to get it to stop sticking out through the corner. And that basically looks like somebody nailed a 2x4 on the outside. That's a lot more acceptable. Yeah, I wish my dogs would not be doing the stupid things that irritate my wife. Because they also irritate me when they do it. Oh. I don't need the... Alright, get square on it. I did not know they put that much sound effect into the animals. I seriously have to give them more credit than I previously have. And I think I'm going to cheat a little bit. Will these walls snap to the barn? No, they will not. That's okay. Once that's inside the wall. So this window is slightly smaller than it used to be. Still pretty impressive size window for this house. How's it look? I can live with that. Although I might want to put a half wall. Why don't I go back up in the walls? A half wall in front of that. So it definitely looks like it's been repaired. They need to patch a hole in the wall, and they put up the wood to hold up the metal that they patch the hole with. I've been meaning to ask people this for a long time. The Brahmin is unassigned. Why has he even got that marker? He's not assignable, if I'm not mistaken. Has anybody got a theory? The cow says moo. Yep. Yep. So keywords. So the basically the cow counts as a settler, so they need to account for him. Even though you can't assign him to anything. Am I reading that response fairly correctly? Yeah, well, you know, I'm there's a purpose for Jin in this world, Groucho. And I'm fairly sure it's stripping old polish off of combat boots. But some people like it, so you know, I'm not going to knock it for everybody. It's just definitely not my thing. That soccer riot definitely, you wouldn't be the only person with that opinion of it. Whoever built this house for themselves really, really liked to be able to look outside. A heck of a lot more than I like to look outside. And I like growing things in my garden, but geez. I only have a couple of houseplants. This person could practically grow a forest in here with the amount of light they must get. Exactly, Groucho. You've got it, you know. Some alcohol was made for the consumer. Other alcohols were made for industrial purposes. The two should not be confused. Slacker, good to see you. No, I think the wood on the inside and the plywood out is the way to go on that one. Get it just far enough in. Those crossboards will look like they're going over those studs. And from the outside, the studs look like they're going over it all. Oh well. Doesn't surprise me that it's different from the inside and the out. I wish it did, but it doesn't. Now, in this case, while I could do the trick that Rush showed me, or reminded me that they existed, so I could work it out. This'll work fine. From this perspective, it definitely looks like it's inside the sill. This is the bump out. This is where I'll use that glass that Russ reminded me existed and fits rather well. Although might be just a little bit odd in the wasteland having your bathroom have a nice big window. I know it would be odd in my neighborhood right now for my bathroom to have a giant window, so. Excellent. Neither of them pokes through. It almost looks like it wants to have a window, but it's not set up that way. Looks like it should have had a window there, but in fact it was set up in a way that it doesn't have room for a window. Come along now. can't quite see. That's the moment it disappears in there. That definitely solidifies that corner up. Now that one could just use a whole wall, couldn't it? Let me guess. One wall is going to be too narrow. Now, let me just drop that there for the moment. Yep. So in previous builds, especially in my PlayStation, this house ended up being the one and only bar in Sanctuary. But it worked a little bit better to have the housing this playthrough, because I was hoping to get a large number of settlers here, and now I know having a lot of settlers anywhere is just a bad idea all around. Does one wall cover that whole mistake? Now, it would be nice if I could get it to do what I want it to do. You see, one wall realistically fits this. I mean, there's a little bit of a gap, but the gap isn't even the same amount as... And literally, there's no visible gap on this side. It's just not quite all the way to the end, and just barely doesn't make it to the door on this side. Probably. I wonder if doing that didn't make it noticeable on this side. So that one is one shack wall wide, and this one is 1 1/10 of a shack wall wide. Just no rhyme or reason. Let's see, Rob Clark, flakes of gold in it, maybe to differentiate between the industrial stuff or added abrasive. Catching up on that one. I wish I had been more a part of that conversation. Yeah, I try not to drink anything that tastes like an industrial solvent. I don't think it's intended for mass consumption. Did I wake up into a rad storm? No. It's just really foggy and yellow this morning. Okay. Now to flip through the menu, because I know that there's some single pieces of plywood that stand on end. Is that even too wide for this? It is. Because that's going to stick out outside. And those are my only choices. Well, I guess this is not going to be a private room then. Apparently not being a private room gave the friendly cow a little bit of irritation. I don't need a side table, I do need a dresser. Now you've got this beautiful window, let's give you a reason to stand at it. And your side table is out here. As is the rest of your furnishings. Let's see. They would want to be able to see the TV, so at least there they sort of see it at an angle. Hey, what's on TV tonight? Same thing as every night. Absolutely nothing. But you know, if Preston gets his way, the Minutemen will start broadcasting something on that damn thing. It depends on the, who made the scotch, Russ. I'm actually rather fond of the 12-year Glenfiddich. But I have had some scotches in the past that were just absolutely horrible at less than 20 years. So I hear you there. Need to find something in game that looks like a TV remote so I can sit it on the coffee table. I don't know what I'm going to do with those ceiling lights. I just noticed this display case is placed here backwards. Alright, let me do a quick save, because I'm about to move this and I might not like the way it looks. No, it definitely looks better from the front than it does from the back. Yeah, if I am lucky, I too will be able to finish taking down the garden this week. I didn't get to grow much in the veg garden this year, but my neighbor who also gardens said that it was a good year to leave the garden to lay fallow anyway. Because the person who owned the house before I was here also did heavy gardening. And apparently, she never gave the garden a rest. So, that might explain why I got a grand total of 1 tomato out of my garden last year. And considering in Texas we have a longer growing season than I'm used to, 1 was just not even remotely considered enough. I did run power to this house. Oh, I turned that TV off, didn't I? I was wondering why it wasn't on. Now I feel dopey. Okay. They need light. Nothing too bright. See how good my table placement... Oh, my table placement was fine. My light placement, holy cow. I don't use this light enough. Such a nice light. Give them their mushroom light to read at night. And we can pretend that they know how to use a light switch and turn this one off when they want to sleep. We could hope that they would know how. bathtub's just about centered on the room. Just off center from the mirror, so it works. The formerly baby room. Good place to store things. Just not gonna let... you gotta get far away from it to let it see it, huh? Okay. I have to wonder why that vent. It doesn't go anywhere. For a second, I thought there was an aggressive dog out there with the cow. Okay. Do they need a hallway light? They probably don't need a hallway light. I wonder what's going to happen to everybody if I send him to the castle right now. Probably nothing productive. It is just a hazy day. Let's have a seat and see if we can time check. See if the fog will clear after a few hours. The fog cleared. Yes. Okay. So that one is buttoned down. That bathroom definitely needs a curtain. It can look ratty. Doesn't have to look all spiffy. But definitely needs a curtain. Okay. I placed that one way too far out from the wall. Why does the curtain sound like it's made of metal? So just a little too deep. And the conduit is gone. Well, it is what it is. It is what it is. At least from a distance, it looks like a curtain rod. I know that we need a light in the kitchen. I do not want to use the bare bulb in those because, as cool as it would look to repurpose those, they'll be way too bright. How bright is this? Is it dim enough? It's kind of harsh. No, those are harsh. Plenty of houses growing up that had this sort of light. Hard to believe that's actually a softer light than the rectangular one. With the condition of this kitchen, I doubt they'll be doing much cooking anyway. There we go. Now it's not floating. I do believe that is the last house and sanctuary.
I'd kill for a drink. Come to think of it, I have.
That's wonderful, McReady. Thanks for sharing. Good to know that the people I've surrounded myself with are degenerates and murderers. Oh yeah. I want to find some plants to put in that house. Because with all those windows, I think that's the house that would definitely have plants. If I can remember where plants are. Sure, it's in decorations. It's in decorations nature. Oh yeah, I like that one better over here. So let me do that. Put the short pot up on the end here. The tall pot. And leave the crack pot behind the controller. Yeah, there are plenty of cloth sounds in the game, Russ. I think that they just, for whatever reason, didn't know what to put. And I can't understand why they wouldn't know what to put as a sound for picking up a cloth item. And they have the sound for picking up cloth items, because if you pick up random pieces of clothing off the ground, they have that sound effect. Okay. So now this house is semi-complete, with everything but somebody to live in it. This is a one-bedroom house, so I am going to be assigning it to our lovely doctor, who should be down here at the clinic. And that way she can stop sleeping on the gurney in her clinic. It's not going to matter much when I do the spontaneous synth check, though. Because if they all quit their jobs, it's not going to end well. Just saying it. And now the doc has her own house. Almost looks like it's presentable. Who should live in... I think the guy with the scavenging job should live at the house with the scavenging station, especially if I'm going to put that inside his house. I don't see him anywhere. Then again, I don't see almost anybody. They're still all working, okay. It is starting to get late. There's one of my guards. Otto, good to see you, sir. There he is. Let's assign him to the bed in here. Now he has a place, and while he's away from this, I'm going to move it into his living room. Pretty sure they don't weld on the short edge of it, but I don't want to put it up against the wall in case he does. Rush, you weren't here when we got started. Another personnel issue that arose this last week is you can see that all three of these guard stations say that they are manned, right? No sign of the guard. Found her. She's walking around on the roof. Never mind. Found the guard. I thought she had disappeared into Neverland, but apparently she's just walking around up on the roof. I'll knock her off of there later. Actually, should I knock her off now? Might as well. Wonder why she's walking around on the roof. Because for the life of me. Well, I guess all I could say is, Bethesda. Let's see, is this going to be far enough for me to get? Oh. Can I get up there now? Alright, that's going to get me up there. Let's get ourselves a turret and shove her off the roof. Yeah. Maybe she spent a little bit too much time with the chems. The heck with Mama Murphy, I gotta keep my guards off that stuff. So the mystery of the missing guard is solved. And it was sort of ironic, and really should have. And you see, she walks back and forth just fine. I don't know why she decided to go up on the roof. She didn't even come when I rang the bell, and the other two guards did. So, I mean, it was perplexing. I thought she had disappeared.
You point, and I'll shoot. Pretty simple arrangement.
I think it's getting time for me to move you out of here. Or for me to move out of here and leave you here.
Been too long since I picked a fight.
Alright, let's do a quick rundown of what we've accomplished here. Looks like I'm going to be coming in at the 2-hour mark this week instead of 2.5 hour. But I did it without a break, so I think I'm getting better at this, throat-wise. It's break time for everybody, so they're leaving their jobs. So let's start right from the beginning. As you come into Sanctuary, it's walled off and security guarded. We have become a fishing community, which should shock very few people with the amount of water available here. And we've attracted more than just the Conquered 5, but a whole bunch of new people. This is where the Vault-Tec salesman is working. He has his own house around the back in the fishing village. As we come up in here, this house has not been repaired, but it has been laid out as a clinic. The first people who moved in here wanted to be friendly to people who travel in from outside of the settlement, and wanted this to be the first place here, because a lot of people come in needing help. So our clinic got set up. And then as we come across the street, we are at the weapons and armor and general, or, is it clothing or is it, yes, it's the clothing merchant. It's the, if you come in here, they have their things laid out. The armorer's got materials to work with and his own armor's bench. Our weapons guy's got his toolboxes and tools laid out over here, and he's got some weapons up on the racks. Our clothing merchant has some things laid out on the shelf to get more as she gets more from the traders. They can come on back here to the fishing dock, the first of the 2 fishing docks. And there is plenty of room up top for storage, which they've started putting in supplies, and they cut down the straw and make sure they have everything they need for the winter, keep the Brahmin fed. And a security guard who can overlook both the front gate and the water approach, because we do get some raider activity on those hills by those pylons, so like to keep an eye on that approach. Every time I pass that thing, it makes noise.
Can't wait to get out
here
of
we
this
have
goddamn heat.
Our first really public space. Visitors can come in and get a drink.
Crop's been growing pretty good lately.
They can rent a room and move on up into one of the fine rooms here at the inn. The first couple of rooms here, this is a 1 cap for the night. This is 5 caps for the night. And this one are 10 caps for the night.
Out here, you gotta take things one day at a time.
We move on through, and not everybody is hanging out here, which is a good sign. Doc was just sitting down having a drink, apparently.
I'm just so hungry all the time.
Yeah, quit complaining. There's plenty of food.
I used to be quite the adventurer when I was young.
Are people actually walking and hanging out at the bar? They are. I've been waiting for this for quite a while, guys. People are actually using the bar. This is the Turkey Buzzard's Retreat. This is, of course, where the dancing would be done. They'll move a radio on up in here if they need some music to dance or entertain with.
I've gotta be honest with you. I feel more comfortable with a rocky ceiling above my head.
I'm real thrilled about that. Could you stop talking to me, McCready? Excellent view from up here to look down on the river. Those of you who have joined after the last couple of weeks will note that, or in the last couple of weeks, will note that I ran past a whole bunch of houses. All of the houses have been revamped except for the Soul Survivor's house. I laid out some things for myself to live with while I started out my adventuring, but that was the extent of the repairs there. And
Only thing better than getting
this
pissed is
house
picking
right
fights.
here
Am I right?
was made a community house for the Concord 5 and has been left almost unaltered, except for I moved 2 of their beds out of here.
We'd move faster if you kept your eyes on the road and off me arse.
This is, of course, the Soul Survivor's house. This is the house that was assigned to Kate. Very minimal furnishings, nice bed for her, and her own kitchen. And of course, she's a scrapper, so she was a great person to put on the rear dock, because I don't want anybody to be coming up into this settlement. And when Kate hears those machine guns open up, she runs straight to the sound of fire. This house has been sealed up but not decorated. None of the residents have requested a home of their own yet. This house has been sealed up and partially decorated. And if I'm not mistaken, I know one, possibly two residents have moved in here. Yes. 2 of the merchants have moved in here. Greentop Nursery is under attack. So we're going to go down this way over here into the fishing village. As you can see, I left this field as much the way it was as I could. I did clean up all of the fallen wood, but I tried leaving the trees up. The first house we come to is our Vault-Tec salesman. It's a simple house, but it looks like he was having a drink. I can understand that. A man wants to have a drink. He can have maybe he can have more than one drink. Who am I to judge? If it's the wasteland, he can have as many drinks as he wants. The apocalypse isn't going to bother me none. Okay, we got a cooking pot going down here. Somebody must have been cooking up the catch for the day. We've got another fishing dock off to the side here, and a boat launch that's not quite it's not quite deep enough to pull the boat up into yet, but the guys will dredge out the terrain over there. We've got the boat down here, and fishing rod and trap in the boat. Obviously, they're going to be going out early if they've got that set up. And one of the fishermen's houses. Nice little setup for them. They've got just simple couple of beds. They got a stove to cook. And, if it's raining, they don't want to go outside to cook. And then we have over here is an outhouse for the fishing community to share. And up in here, have a nice little place, and this is where June lives. Used to be where June and Marcy lived, but Marcy left to be a provisioner when another settler started sleeping in Marcy's bed. And then, of course, we have the Turkey Buzzard's Retreat, rear deck, where you can come on up in to share a drink, get some cigarettes, and maybe you're coming on through to see one of your friends in town here. And that is the revitalization, as much as the wasteland would permit, of the community of Sanctuary Hills. I'm going to sit my butt down and we'll take a quick daylight tour so you can see all the dark spaces that I walked through. Yeah, her and MacReady in the bar at the same time would be a very, very bad idea. But in this playthrough, Kate is clean of the chems, so she doesn't have that monkey on her back anymore. And so is Mama Murphy. Of course, Mama Murphy was a lot easier. We just stopped giving them to her and told her that's enough. And again, it is foggy as all get out, so let me give it another hour and see if that helps. Adama, good to see you, sir. I am not getting away from the fog this playthrough. That's just unacceptable. I have to be away from the fog for that. You guys cannot see more than 3 inches in front of our faces. There's a blue sky. Okay. Okay, so as we return to the front gate, as I said, we've got our guard stations built up on the front gate. Front gate is positioned directly at the end of the bridge so that anybody coming along has to be given permission to enter. We have our fishing dock. Number 1 right here. This is the primary place where the fishermen can fish directly off the dock or take a boat out. The Vault-Tec salesman over here and our other salesman over here greeting prospective customers as they come into town. Our clinic, in case anybody coming into town has been injured, they can get patched right up. Let's go through here to go down and see the fishing village in the daylight. And we just won't talk.
Where are we off to next?
Well, maybe you should not be in the poor man's house. Unless you're in there taking shots of his whiskey. I don't know. So he's got a very spacious place for himself, but apparently he spends a lot of time here contemplating life. As I said, this was small dock for them to moor up the boat, but they haven't finished dredging the shoreline down a little bit so that they can pull up the boat here, so they're still going to be working off the second fishing dock where they can both pull the boat all the way up or fish right off the pier. Taking advantage of the space down here, they wanted to make sure that they had their own outhouse. And then we have the second house in the fishing community. This is... help if I wasn't tripping over something there. This is where Mama Murphy is moved down to, by the way. So she and... I'm not sure who the other worker is who's been here. And, of course, the Turkey Buzzards Retreat.
Yes?
It's a great place to come up both at night and in the morning to grab a bite to eat, maybe get a drink to start the day off, brace yourself for the hardships of what's to come. Absolutely stunning view of the water off Sanctuary. Excellent place to sit and think. Turkey Buzzard's retreat sign lights up all day long on this wall because it's shadowed almost all day long. We have our guard duty. Yeah, I saw her. She was thinking about jumping up on that roof. We have our guard stand here. Also one of the generator sheds, where she can keep an eye on things in case anybody tried to approach along the lake shore or come down the hill from the behind Vault 111. I hear her. She's stepping on something there. She has her own little house right here. Nice little place. She takes good care of it. And as we move over here, we have the current scrapper. He's the one who makes his way around the area, gives himself stuff to tear apart and break down into their components. It's a nice little house he's got. He has room for somebody else to move in and share it. And here he comes now. Yeah, I'm glad to see that you're enjoying your place. Taking that blowtorch out of your back pocket, you might want to wait until it's out of your pocket before you light it.
Nice day today. Perfect for traveling.
This house was not assigned to anybody yet, but people have moved in. And Codsworth spends a lot of time in this house. This house and the one we finished today over on the far side of the
Open road and a loaded
cul-de-sac.
wagon. Doesn't get much better than this.
And McReady just randomly decided he was going to be a farmer today. I see that Carla has made it here.
Yes?
She wasn't here
I don't
earlier,
mind
What's
so
up?
as long as there's
she
some
should
excitement at
have
the end of the road.
a whole lot of caps on her. And I think I have some stuff for her. Oh,
You need something? I'll see if I can help.
Yes?
Carla,
Back again? Time to do business?
I'll take a look. Sure.
I got a little bit of everything.
well, all I'm really concerned about are those caps, Carla. You know, it's more than you got, but I'll let you slide. And that's how we can afford to build things anywhere we want to. That's just our little
Nothing's more
secret.
satisfying than a smoking gun and a pocket full of cash.
So don't tell anybody. Oh, thank you, Soul Dweller. Well, guys, it's been 7 weeks since we started this. But we have now finished, for the most part, Sanctuary Hills. When we started this whole thing, it was... there wasn't a single one of the Sanctuary pre-war houses that had been modified. They've now all been modified except for the Soul Survivor's house, which I want to leave it as it is. This survivor is not going to live here, and she doesn't want somebody else living in her house. So she's gonna trash the place when she leaves. It's been an adventure, and let's take a quick vote on where anybody wants to see me build next week, because that's where we're going to be starting. Oh, thank you, Otto. Rob, let's see what we have as available locations. Obviously, the Red Rocket. I'm least interested in building there or Abernathy. I don't have a clue what I want to do at Abernathy. Sunshine Tidings would be a good place. Ten Pines Bluff, it's recently been done in another stream. Grey Garden, there's not a lot to do there. That's just, robot land, and as long as it's just robots, they're good there. Oberlin Station, Hangman's Alley. I am not going to build at Bunker Hill. Not only has SAR recently built there, SAR built there, and it was a pain in his neck. I am not going to build there. The Mechanist Lair is off the table. I have not yet... Well, I have control of Kingsport Lighthouse, so I can put some route to Kingsport. Coastal Cottage is... I haven't done anything with it. I haven't seen anybody do anything with it in quite a while, so I'll give it a crack. I do not have anything in Far Harbor yet. So I would have to spend some time acquiring building spots in Far Harbor. Or I also don't have Nuka World yet. But the majority of the vanilla game Commonwealth is open to exploitation. We do have Outpost Zima. We do not have... what's the name of that? The little community of synth haters. Murkwater. Do I have Murkwater? Jamaica Plain... Somerville, Egret Tours. Murkwater is right in this area, if I remember correctly. If I don't have it, I can go get it. Let me turn this off and see if I... That's the glowing sea. I'll go get Murkwater. Not really looking forward to building in Murkwater, but what's the worst it can do? Sink? Okay, let's see. I've got 2 people voting for Coastal Cottage. Barbarian King would like to see me build in the swamp. Barbarian King's going to the Coastal Cottage, so I've got 3 on Coastal. Well, yeah, Otto, the Queen is inconsequential at this point. As a matter of fact, it would be harder to get to her with the pair of Mirelurk Kings that'll sneak up and attack you trying to get to Murkwater, depending on the direction you're coming from. Rob wants to see Sunshine Tidings. Di wants to see Coastal Cottage, so that's 4 for Coastal. Otto's looking for Hangman's Alley. So I've got Hangman's Alley, Sunshine Tidings, and then 4 for Coastal. That accounts for 6. Hawk wants me to go to the Glowing Sea. Ha ha ha. Yeah, I do believe that, barring any intervention, we are going to be at Coastal Cottage starting next week. So let's fast travel on up to the cottage. Now we got 2 on Sunshine Tidings. If enough votes come in before we log off, I will definitely reconsider. But right now we're at 4-2 on Coastal. Thank you, Soul Dweller. You have a great day. I hope that your week goes excellent as well.
Hey, I just wanted to introduce myself. Anyway, I just wanted to thank you. I think we can make a go of it here.
So is there anything you need me to get started on?
I want to trade a few things.
Sure thing.
Let's see what you got. You don't have a single bottle cap. No, you can just go about your business.
Anything I can do to help out around here?
You got a place to sleep, don't you? I think you're all set. Okay, I've done nothing up here other than throw down I think I threw down 1 sleeping bag and there was one here already. Or I moved some sleeping bags that were here. And I put... oh, let's see. Yeah, I put a beacon here. Luckily it's off. And a turret. So that's where we stand on Coastal Cottage. No, I'm more than 1 turret. Okay. So I will need to set a supply route out to here. Unless I already have one. I do have one already. Okay, so we have Coastal Cottage waiting for next Saturday. Sunshine is trailing at 1. All right. I'm going to check the mail-in ballots. I'll do that overnight. You guys don't need to worry about counting those. I'll take care of that. And so long as the good Lord's willing and the creek don't rise, we'll be here next Saturday. And we will start taking on Coastal Cottage. I want to thank everybody who stayed today for the up to 2 hours you shared with me on your Saturday afternoon, as well as those who have been here for the 7 weeks we took turning Sanctuary into a living, breathing community. It has been a pleasure to both present to you what I was building and take advice from you on how I should go about doing things. I look forward to many, many more builds with you. And for my part, I couldn't do it without you. Okay. Yeah, Sar was trying to build it coastal in vanilla. I'm running mods, so it should be a fair side easier, but I still do want it to look realistic. So it could be a little bit of a challenge. But I had a great time. I hope that you all did. Everybody, take care of your families, and have a great day. I shall see you next time.